typing it like crazy. Nah. Sorry, technological hitch. Oh, there it is. Au kia ora tātou, Ngāi Tahu whānui, nau mā haramai, tahuri mai o tāriki ki kia mātou nei e kōrero nei mō tēnei ara kia nuku whakamua te kāwanatanga o te runanga o Ngāi Tahu. Hoi anō e te whānau, tēnā koutou katoa. I'm just going to speak briefly and give you an overview of what form and function is all about and what we hope to be able to do with you all in the very near future. Basically, after our last 20 years, there's been 2 or 3 times when we've had to stop and reflect and deliberately design our next steps, and this is one of those times. We have looked at our governance practices particularly, not a lot else. There are some other big strategic initiatives going on that Lisa's discussed yesterday, but this is particularly about how we operate as a table, what we see as a priority, how we engage with each other, and how we engage with the iwi. And very soon it's our intent to come out and speak to you. And Susan will talk about how we're going to try and communicate both with iwi whānui, the entire 50,000 plus, but also how we're going to try and engage more directly with the Rūnanga and the active Rūnanga members over the next few months. What we're particularly wanting to talk about is the issue of iwi engagement. We're not convinced that we've got the most effective communication processes in place. We think in some instances we've lost a bit of communication with some of our leaders on the ground that aren't necessarily finding ways for the message to get to Te Rūnanga about what their aspirations are and how we could work together more collaboratively to achieve them. We have these sorts of forums from time to time, and otherwise there's a very narrow pathway through each rep from the Rūnanga and random engagements that the staff sometimes are expected to manage. So that's definitely a priority. How do we move together more effectively as an iwi with the many moving parts that make up Ngāi Tahu? One of the things which I'm quite passionate about is this idea of tikanga. One of the things that we've done over the years is adopted many different practices, often drawn from Western models of governance or management. And it was quite inspirational for me earlier this year to see the Māori Business Awards, how some of the iwi organisations have taken different pathways and perhaps more focused on values and tikanga than is obviously the pathway that Ngāi Tahu's taken. Certainly the processes we've taken have served us well thus far, but we're at a point of maturity where we want to stop and revisit that and ask, how is it that we can ensure that the tikanga is given life within our boardroom debates, within our decision making, within our processes for resolving conflict, all of the things which our old people had methods of the successful methods, but we haven't necessarily adopted within our own frameworks. Which of course also leads on to values which have driven the organisation since its inception, and the question has been put to us, are they still the values that we intend to guide us for the next 25 years? And so that's something we want to engage with the iwi on as well. Have we got the right values in place? Are they practical? Are they serving us well? There's also been a number of questions raised about the appointment process, and of course those of you that have been following Te Rūnanga for the last 25 years will know that this has been a question raised over and over again, whether or not the electoral college type system that we've got is the best one. We've looked at the outcomes, and it's really interesting. We've got a good balance of ages and experience and gender at the table, so we're certainly delivering something which seems to be working, if that's what we're striving to achieve. But the question needs to be put, is there a better way to do it? A number of people have argued about direct voting for a number of years. The Rūnanga sometimes feels disjointed from the Electoral College, and is that the best way for us to be giving effect to our appointment process? And Te Kaitiakitanga me te tāhuhu, which is governance and organisational development, as outlined in Ngāi Tahu 2025. That's basically an opportunity to review the things that we have said we wanted to achieve by 2025, considering we've only got 7 or 8 years left until we reach that point. How much have we achieved? How much is still relevant and important, and what do we need to do to realise all of the important outcomes that we'd hope to achieve when we put that document together some 15 or 18 years ago. So that's the general overview of what it is we're trying to engage on, and Susan's going to talk to you about how it is we're going to do that. Kia ora.
I aku nui, I aku rahi, raurakatira mā o Ngāi Tahu whānui. Nei te mihi aroha o kāti mahaki ki a koutou katoa, no reira tēnā koutou. The Form and Function Review is a really exciting kaupapa, and it seems really fitting that this year, as we celebrate 20 years since the settlement, that Te Rūnanga o Ngāi Tahu review and reflect on our governance structures and look at what our kaiwhakahaere Lisa referred to yesterday as the good, the bad and the ugly. There have been a number of reviews. We've drawn on a lot of findings of the collective knowledge of the table, of previous Te Rūnanga o Ngāi Tahu representatives, and we've also drawn on external advice. But the missing ingredient has been the voice and the aspirations of Ngāi Tahu whānui. Today we're really pleased to be sharing with you all how we hope to capture your voice and to engage you as Ngāi Tahu whānui. We acknowledge that over 60% of our whānau live outside of Takiwā. We also acknowledge that we need to use all of the tools we have available now, but we also need to investigate and to identify more effective ways for Ngāi Tahu whānui to engage and to give feedback. We want to provide enhanced opportunities for wider debate and inclusion of Ngāi Tahu whānui in our decision making. We know when you look at these lists of 6 kaupapa that we've identified for this first tranche of consultation, probably don't look very exhaustive to you, but we feel that by starting at this point, we know that you'll be able to get some valuable information that will help us to make the change and to build and improve on what we do today, and hopefully to guide us for the next 20 years. So the consultation document is due to come out before Christmas. We're going to be using a range of tools. There's online. For those who don't want to respond online, our 0800 number will be available for whānau to be able to, give verbal feedback. We're also organising forums through our Papatapu Rūnanga, and there will be regional hui available as well. So a lot of that information will come out before Christmas. I guess what I'm wanting to do is really, really encourage you to let your whānau know that this is happening. There'll be more information on our webpage, and just to encourage you to join us on this journey as we look to the future. Kia ora koutou.
Kia ora koutou. So a very important kaupapa, and we really urge that you do get involved with understanding what it is we're seeking from you. We're seeking your participation in a consultation process which looks at the future governing structure of Te Rūnanga o Ngāi Tahu. So the governing board of Te Rūnanga, but not only that, how do we engage the leaders around our regions in tribal affairs? What role should the paipai from our 18 papatipu play? What role should our rangatahi forum play? We're looking at also engaging a kaumātua forum, a kaumātua kahui. So we're wanting your feedback on what you think about those kinds of things and should we have them or not. So I urge you to all engage in the process. And if you're not wanting to do the online survey, but you'd rather give your views back through your Tront representative, we will be establishing a process where Tront reps will come to your Papatipu Rūnanga meeting, talk through the form and function process. We'll have staff there with us, and there'll be a whole engagement process that will also happen face-to-face. So, as Susan said, it is an exciting time. It's a time for evolution, a time for change, and a time for us to also look at how we engage better, communicate better, improve upon the things that we're hearing Ngāi Tahu whānui ask for over the last 12 months. So without any further ado, the Form and Function Committee, who have been putting in a lot of effort since April, with Gabriel Huria, Matapura Allison, Susan Wallace, Tahupotiki, Joe McLean, and missing today is Terry Nicholas. A piece of work that did come out of the Form and Function Committee earlier this year was the review of the role of the kai whakahaere and the deputy kai whakahaere, and a review of the remuneration of that role. So that's the first start in making some changes at a governance level. Those things will be reviewed again once we've finished the Form and Function consultation process to ensure that we've got it right. So we do need your participation, and I look forward to listening to the next group, which is our rangatahi, who are going to come up and inspire us. That's our future, and that's what we need to be mindful of, and making sure we're fit for purpose and relevant, because if we're not relevant to them, we've got something completely wrong. So thank you so much. Looking forward to mingling with you the rest of the day. I hope you've had a wonderful hui. And the whakawhanaungatanga seems very strong, and there was a lot of dancing on the dance floor last night, so I know that you all had a wonderful evening last night. Big mihi to Ngāi Tūāhuriri. I think we'll be doing that later on again, but while I've got the podium, te maire and the whānau, thank you. So thank you, whānau. Kia ora. Oh, they reminded me that what I was actually supposed to be doing was asking if you had any questions. Wonderful. You're all happy. All happy? Great. Thank you. Kia ora. Kia ora.